Now, this one's a little bit hurried because there is a very limited time frame in which you can apply for it. And it's something that I am not 100% certain is the case. But I thought it's worth putting out there because you've got to do this quite quickly. Now, yeah, I've started off with a little graphic that says get out of jail free card. And in typical teacher fashion, I'm going to just adjust that a little bit because I'm a little bit worried that this is too good to be true. And if it is true, then it is very, very, very good. And you probably should have a look at it. A little bit of correction here. This is about buyout, and it's buyout of the reduction applied when you take the pension early, the career average pension. Now, since April 2022, everybody has been in the career average scheme. So up until the end of March, you get the choice, if you're one of the remedy members, to have that in the final salary or in the career average. So we've got this virtually 2-year period, and it is a 2-year period if we go into 2024, because up until 2024, up until the end of March, you're in the career average period, and that's 2 years, near as damn it. This date, the 31st of March 2024, is a key date. If you want to choose to have the buyout option, then you have to have applied by the 31st of March 2024. You can only do it generally within the first 6 months of starting in the scheme. And because you started back in 1st of April 2022, 2 years ago, they're extending it because they hadn't got it all sorted. They hadn't got all the regulations in place. They hadn't got the mechanics in place to take your payments and do the application. So you've got until the 31st of March 2024 to do this buyout and get the bonus of it. And it appears going back to April 2022. And that is the bit that appears to be too good to be true. And I say that because somebody's applied for it and they've sent me the letter. They've sent me the letter that they got saying you've been accepted to have this buyout. And there's one very, very interesting part in this letter. The instructions say they're going to start taking the money from you on the 1st of March 2024. And then that bit at the end says we're going to apply that back to April 2022, but we're not going to collect the arrears from you. We're not going to collect the money that you should have paid in that gap. If that means you get it for free, this is a really good value. Now, as with all these things, and being an IT teacher, I spot these. Being an English teacher, you're probably already wincing. The word affected, gives us a little bit of a pause for concern and a little bit of a worry, because that affected makes it imply that somebody's typed this and not sent it through some quality control. So a little bit of a concern there. But if you do the buyout anyway and you stop it after a little while, you're not going to miss out and lose a great deal. But if it is true, you don't want to miss out on this. You're going to get 2 years free. Now, what I've done here is I've taken what you would have been on if you were on the top of the upper pay range. So you're at UPS 3 since April 2022. So 5 months at 41,600, and then a year at 43,685, and then the current year at 46,525. You're paying 9.6% and it's adding this amount of pension. So in the 2 and a bit years from April 22, your career average pension has added about £2,000 to it. If you have to pay for the buyout and you choose to pay the buyout and it does pay it from March, you're paying up until the end of the same period just for 6 months. If you're going at Easter this year, you're only be paying for 2 months, maybe even only 1 month. And so the cost to you is about £420. So what do you get for that? Well, what you get when you retire at 55, all of the buyout is applied to a state pension age of 65. And then they take off another 3% for every year that your state pension age is beyond that. So you can, a 55-year-old now would be a state pension age of 67. So they take out off an extra 6%. Now it's 6% of the reduction factor, so it's not exactly 6%. So in here, the two figures, with the 2-year buyout, you're going to get 0.648. Without the buyout, you're getting 0.609. This is why I say it's not exactly 6%. In this case, it's more like, what's that? Well, nearly 4%, 3.9%. And what kind of difference does that make? Well, with the buyout, you'd get, instead of 2,000, remember taking it at 55, you're taking it very early, you get nearly 1,300. You take it, if you don't do the buyout, you're getting 1,200. A difference there is £77 a year. So, not tremendous amounts. But bear in mind, you only paid £418 to get that benefit, if it's true. Always going to put that caveat in there, because sometimes when things are too good to be true, they just seem like they're too good to be true. Maybe they are. But in this case, that looks tremendous. If you live to an average life expectancy, which is mid-80s, and you're taking it at 55, that's 30 years. 30 years of that extra £77, you're going to get an extra £2,500. That's a return of over 450%. It seems to be a terrific deal. If you're going to go this year, if you're going at April, it's even better. I mean, wow, is it better if you're going at April? Because you're paying so little and getting so much. If you go on for longer, you're going to get the kind of standard element of the bank. You're still getting the advantage of this early section, and you could stop paying for the buyout in August. You could decide, I've had enough of that, I'm not going to do it anymore. So you could lock this bit in and then go back to some other sort of savings scheme. Now, there are two forms to fill in here. There's one form to fill in. I've put the link on the top left to get to the page that I'm showing you, and then the bottom link, which I'll put in the comments, is the link to fill in the buyout form. The one section in here that's relevant, this is applying if you're eligible, and they've got affected right in this term, by the transitional protection, and your service has been rolled back and you entered it on the 1st of April 2022. You've got to do the paper form. So that's why you've got to do the paper form. And that means you've got to do it well in advance so you can make sure that when you post it, it gets to them before the end of March this year. Please let me know how you get on. If you do get a similar response, if you do apply for this and you do get a similar response, first of all, I want to know if they've corrected the spelling mistake. But seriously, what I want to know, have you got the same detail that you're not going to be charged for those 2-year period? Thank you.